So the rule of thirds is a great compositional tool when working on your images. So in Photoshop, if you do Control T, you can easily half an image. So if you have your guides up by doing Control R, you can actually have that working right in the center. Control H. Control H. So there's a few ways that you can do it that, depending on which way you like to work, could work out better for you. So one of the ways is if we go into our preferences and go to Guides, Grid, and Slices. Under Grid, we could change the grid line to 100%. There's percent, so 100%, and make the subdivisions 3. If I do OK, and then the shortcut is Control apostrophe, and then now you can see we have the rule of thirds popping up on our image. Now this one's handy because you can do the hotkey Control apostrophe to bring it up whenever you want, which I like. Now you can make this line different by going back into that same area. And right now we have the grid line like this. You could have dots, you could have dash. You can change the color. Right now it's like an off-white gray, so let's just make it red. So now you can sort of see it okay, or you could revert back. You can pick your own color. Say green, let's move that. But for me, I actually like the light gray because it's soft enough that my eye can read it. So that's one way. So again, you're using the grid line to do that. So if you go to Guides, Grid, 100%, 3 subdivisions, that's one way. So if I do Control apostrophe, it goes away. Now the other way is using the crop tool. So if you do the crop tool, once you go in here, in this top dialog box is, once I click on the crop, see, it automatically gives me that rule of thirds. So I haven't done anything to the image, and now if I want to crop, see that the rule of thirds is nice because I'm coming across. Now right now you can see that I'm stretching and stuff, so if I hold Shift, it'll keep in that ratio. And let's do that. Control Z. So we undid it. Now, again, if I go back to the crop tool, the minute I click, this could be useful. And now you could trace over it if you want and lay down a grid, your guides to trace that. Now, the other nice thing that the crop tool, again, if you go up to this little dialog box, it can be grid. You can do a diagonal. Triangle is nice, so it gives you this nice way to try to do compositional based on that. The golden ratio, which is a different format. And what I like, the golden spiral, so if you wanted to have that overlaid in that sense. So that's the second way that you can do this. And the third way is if we go into our view and we go into guides. So instead of grid, this is the guides. And we have a new guide layout drop down. So you can see here we have some guides. So I'm going to cancel my guides. So view, guides, clear guides. Now we don't have any guides. View, guides, guide layout. And you can see here there's a preset that I made. So this is thirds. So right now you can make your own. So let's say it's an 8 column. So this is how it comes in with the new guide layout. So you got 8 columns, and then you can select the color, and there's the columns there. All you want to do is basically change this to 3, no gutter, rows 3, and 0, no gutter, right? And then now the same thing, you can keep this as that. So now you're in the rule of thirds for this image. Now again, we go back to our guides, new guide layout, and then you can save as preset. So right now I've already made this, so I'm going to go back to that. And now if I go view, guides, new guide layout, you can see right here, thirds. You could set up a hotkey so you could call that up if you don't have it already preset. But now that my guides are already defaulting to that, now if I control H, I can turn that on and off right away. So same thing as control apostrophe, control H, control apostrophe. So you can see that there's a few different ways if you wanted to do that. Depending on how you like to work, you can use any one of the three, but I find it very useful so I can easily bring up the rule of thirds. And then again, if I do control T, I will have the image where I can draw a guide for right in the middle, so half right there. And then now you have thirds and cutting your image in half. So depending on how you like to work, this is a really easy way. I'm sure there's other ways, but I just wanted to share 3 different ways that you can bring up the rule of thirds for compositional framing.